Welcome back to the Dirt Road Mafia YouTube channel. Today, we're going to wash the old hot rod. Try to clean up the old going to town rig. So, I may even have a little story to tell y'all that maybe some of y'all don't know about this old hot rod. First, we got to do some cleaning. So, y'all stick around. Got a pressure washer, got a foam cannon, and it's going to go down. We'll just wet her down some here. Get the high spots. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Oh no. This hose absolutely just, I don't even know what the words for it. Tell you, it's worse than straight up hot dog water. Well, now don't get kinky on me. We're gonna throw y'all onto a little time lapse while I get all this mumbo jumbo hooked up and you ain't missing nothing. So, as you seen, we got most of the outside done. I've got the floor mat over there washed out. Got to vacuum a little in here. Why did I bring my dirty boots in here? Anyways, next project is, I don't know if you can see it, but the dash, a little dirty. You know, door panels, just dirty. If you don't have one of these, what are you doing? It's called a California Car Duster, the original. Yeah, I don't think, as far as just dusting the dash, I mean, a fella don't even have to lean up in there. He can just get on over in there and just swipe it on. Get on in here in the dash. Yeah, just run it all over the place. Don't be scared. California Duster. Now for wiping down the rest of the car, dash, in the instrument panel, center console, door panels, this is the only way to go. I've tried the spray on Armor All, and just using a rag does good. These are one and done. Just one and done. I'm simple. I don't like using a bunch of stuff. It's like washing the truck. It didn't get it perfect. I mean, if I'd have hand washed it, that would have been better. Depending on who you ask. According to my papa, you gotta touch it for it to be clean. Probably true. Yeah, a lot of people go to the car wash. They'll just spray down their old rig. Not use the soap, which at a car wash, I don't blame you. Those brushes are sometimes brutal. Yeah, you get up here in the instrument cluster with one of these. Wipe down everything. Don't be afraid. Get over in the door panel. Wipe her down. That side's not dirty. Nobody ever rides with me. Non-carpool lane. Hey, what are you doing under here? Yeah, I probably need to get under the hood, don't I? It's dirty. So, I don't know if you can see, but it's dirty under here. And I don't like to really use high pressure under the hood because there's all kinds of electronics on these new cars. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. May not be the best thing to do, but it's what I'm going to do. I'll turn this over on the shower, and I'm just going to spray her down. Just like so. Then, find somewhere to put you. I got me some snow wash, or whatever you want to call it, for the foam cannon, and just some water in here. Open it. Yep, we had pressure. Just spray her down. There we go. We got some suds going now. Try not to spray y'all down when I get a little spray happy. The manual model. Just give her a little spray down. I'd say that's about good enough for the women we date anyway. But this here on shower still, and just spray her down. It's hard to tell when the last time this was actually done. It's looking real dirty over here. I told you this water hose is garbage, I didn't lie to you. You know, get down in there where the frame rails are. You might be able to even get a little jet down in there. Down in there where the frame rails are, turn on a little jet. Just don't like spraying down none of these electronics real high pressure. I've seen people pressure wash everything on the hood, so it probably don't hurt it, but that's just my 2 cents. My pennies spin just like yours does. So I promised y'all a story about this old hot rod. Well, it involves me and this old hot rod truck that we've washed and done some stuff with today. So I want you to think back on your life. You remember that first vehicle that you drawed an interest in? It could have been new, could have been used, who knows? I want you to think back to that one vehicle that you recall. I remember the day in 2009, I can't recall the exact date, but in 2009, when my papa brought this old truck home from the dealership in Bristol, we had went truck shopping quite a few times up to this point. Looked at a few things, and me being a young pup, I wanted something lifted, big tires, exhaust, tinted windows. I wanted all that. I had no plans or intentions that I would ever drive this vehicle. But we found a truck, blue Chevrolet. I don't think it was like a 2007. Extended cab, just like this one. Had a lift, exhaust. I loved it. Papa, he said, that ain't really what we was wanting, but we'll look into it. I was like, yes, I've got it. I wasn't able to drive. I'm pretty sure at this time I wasn't. So, in fact, I know it wasn't. Yeah. So, I had it convinced. I was looking up grills and headlights. I couldn't drive it again. Couldn't drive it, but I was going to make this a nice truck to wheel through town with my papa. And all this. Well, the night before we was supposed to go buy it, we were sitting in the living room, and him and my granny was talking, and just out of the blue, he said, "Woman, I believe I'm going to go to Bristol tomorrow and look at some new trucks." Of course, I was like, what? We done found the truck you wanted. So, but no, he wanted to go look at brand new trucks on the new Chevy dealership. And he claimed to me, he said, I just want to go get some prices. Look at what they've got to offer. You know, maybe something we can use for leverage at the used dealership where that other truck was. And he wanted me to go, and I was mad. I threw me a fit, and I said, well, I ain't going with you. You won't go down there and look at them new trucks and them stock. I remember this. They were just saying stock stuff. I ain't going to go. Well, it didn't stop him from going. And when my granny went and looked at new trucks down there in Bristol at Bill Gatton Chevrolet, Granny called me later and said he found him a new one. I said, well, what color is it? I was just mad. I was upset because we wasn't getting that truck that had the lift and tires and exhaust and all that. I was just mad. So I heard it pulling in the driveway. I remember I was sitting on the computer. You know, this back in this time, it was desktop computer. Probably playing games. I could see the reflection because there was a gun cabinet in the vicinity there that looked out the window. I could see the reflection of the truck. I could hear it when it pulled up. It ain't no rumble. So I'd say 2 or 3 days went by. I didn't graze the presence of this truck, of it sitting in the driveway. Well, finally, I needed to go to Walmart or out of town or something. You know, probably after school. Papa took me to Walmart in the truck. He said, well, for just X amount of dollars more, wasn't a substantial amount, over that used truck, I got a brand new one. It had like 4 miles on it when we brought it home. So I grew to like the old truck. It took a while, and I realized it wasn't me buying it. Wasn't my truck to be picky over, so Papa got the new truck that he wanted, and I was proud. Then I got to be about 16 years old, right before I started driving, I'd say. And, you know, the truck had been around for some time. And I started during the summer. I'd move this truck back and forth in the driveway. You know, my grandparents has got a place that's kind of diagonal from each other. So I'd drive the truck from the house down to the other property. You know, take the tailgate off of it. Stuff that made absolutely no sense. But I'd always try to make sure that truck was back in the driveway before Papa got home from work. Because he didn't drive the truck to work. He had him a work truck. This was his going out on Sunday type vehicle. So, but there's been a time or two I'd let time slip away, and I used the excuse like I was riding the dirt bike, didn't want to hit it. Like when he'd ask me, why is that down there at the other property, you know, and you're going to get caught going up and down this road, no driver's license, just all that. Well, then it turned into still no license. I had me a little girlfriend, and this became our little hangout. Every couple of days, you know, the truck might not even went nowhere. Papa might not even have drove it, but I'd be in here, armor all on the dash, vacuuming out, washing the truck, climbing underneath it, making sure everything was cleaned out. Every couple of days. It became my absolute baby. And for why at that point, I didn't know. Other than it was a brand new truck. It was almost a brand new truck at this point. And this was my way of maybe leveraging, flaunting to my new girlfriend I had. Well, hey, look, I got a brand new truck. It wasn't mine. But in my head, I guess it might have been. Then I got my driver's license. Well, I'll never forget that day. I got home from school, had my license. First of all, my papa about had to call the cops to verify that I even had a license. Then we had to go to the insurance company. The insurance company, had to go through all this stuff to just, can he even drive my vehicle? My papa was old school. Can he even drive my vehicle? If he wrecks my vehicle, am I covered? And just, all this stuff. Didn't really, not having a lot. I had learners at this point. So I wheeled my mom's minivan around a couple times. I remember that. We went a couple places, and Papa finally let me drive the Silverado here a couple places. Whether or not I was covered on insurance or not, I'm sure I bound I had. He probably had a certified letter to make sure things was covered. It's just how Papa is. And I'm kind of the same way now, but back to the point, we went on vacation a time or two, and I drove. And it's all in this truck. But then the day I went through driver's ed, completed driver's ed, got my actual driver's license. And I said, I'm driving to school tomorrow. I got me a parking permit. I didn't care. I didn't think about the insurance part. But let me tell you, my papa did. He made sure that we was covered still. So when you think back and driving that first time from your house to high school, pulling into your student parking lot, it involves this truck. First time driving by myself was in this truck. First time driving to school, like I said, was in this truck. This truck's got a lot of sentimental value to me. And that value is stuff that just, you kind of forget it. But then when you look at it, memories come back. That's times I'll never forget. I remember coming home from high school, going to school that morning, I was like nervous. And I remember it being like a 2 or 3 minute ride to the gas station. I stopped and got me something to drink. And I was like, dang, am I close to school? School was like a 10-minute drive, but it felt like it was an hour. All day at school, I was like, come on, let's go. I want to go home. I want to drive home. And then that drive home felt like an hour going back. I kind of felt like I was breaking a law of some sort, just because nobody was with me. And I guess that goes back to growing up. I drove on some back roads when I was young, like 6 or 7 years old, on my granny's lap or papa's lap. I rode riding mowers around the yard when I was like 3 or 4 years old at the oldest. Maybe been younger than that. So driving always was a part of my life. But driving by yourself for that first time, that's a memory you don't forget. So this truck holds that to me. The first date with a girl that, hey, I get to pick her up, we'll go out to eat, I'm driving. It's this truck right here. Going to the first Bristol race by yourself. Parking 10 miles away from the track because you're broke. Used all the money that you had for gas to go to the race. and probably financed a ticket with from somebody that involves this truck. All these memories of first times that involves driving involves this truck. And I think that if you're sentimental and remember your past, that's something you never forget. You never forget that one vehicle that holds all that. Luckily for me, it's all the same vehicle, and that vehicle's still around. That's this truck right here. So, of course, it was never mine during none of this. I just drove it. I started working in the mines, and I was driving this truck to work every day. I work night shift, so every day Papa would come out here and vacuum the truck out and wipe down the inside. If I had coal dust in it, he would jump onto me. He said, "You're destroying my truck." I remember that. So he made me the option, said, "If you're going to work in the mines, you got to find you another vehicle." So that's how I kind of steered away from this truck. He kind of just yanked it away from me. But anyway, over the years, a truck was always around. Papa worked on anything wrong with it. I mean, these vent visors, they're GM. They're General Motors, probably $500, $600, $700 vent visors. Used to have seat covers on it from the Chevy dealership that was GM. That's just how Papa done. He took excellent care of his truck. Every oil change, every time he got fuel, gas after a while, it was wrote down where he got it, how much he got it. But everything maintenance-wise done to this truck is in a notebook in the dash. And I've continued that. But let me tell you how I ended up with the truck. I think that's an interesting story. Back probably October or November of last year, my grandfather bought a new 4-door Ford. And he come over and showed it to us. Nice truck. Beautiful truck. And there's nobody more deserving than my papa to have a truck like that. My papa means the absolute world to me. And I asked him, I said, "What are you going to do with that old Chevrolet?" "I'll haul dirt and trash with it." I said, "All right." Well, I had a little car that was literally falling apart. I wasn't even trusted to put in a demolition derby. It was falling apart like you wouldn't believe. I showed him what was wrong with the old car, and I said, "Well, I'll take that old truck." Well, he just kept bringing it up. "Hey, it's got this rust, starting to rust. It needs a bumper put on the back." I said, "Papa, it don't matter to me. None of that matters." Well, he just laughed. I just said, "Well, since you got that new Ford, you can just give me that old Chevrolet of yours." He just laughed and go on about his business. Well, I never dreamed what was going to happen. I called him a couple times just to aggravate him. Called to check on him and my granny. I said, "Well, tell Papa now. He wants to give me that old truck. I'll take it." And I used to joke around with him, tell him that they don't need to put gas in it. They don't need to wash it. I'll take it dirty. Just playing around with him. The night before Christmas, my grandmother called me to ask what time we was going to have Christmas dinner and what time they should come over. And again, I made the joke with my papa. I said, "Well, you bring that truck over here tomorrow." I said, "You ain't even got to put a bow on it. Just bring it on how it is." And she said, "Well, I'm tired." My grandmother said, "I'm tired of y'all doing this, so I'll let you talk to him." Well, she'd done this a time or two before. And I'd joke around with him, like, don't wash it, just bring it how it is. You ain't got to put gas in it, or whatever. Well, night before Christmas, I told him again, I said, now, you ain't got to put no bow on that truck when you bring it over here. That's all right. And he said, well, I'll bring you that truck. He said, well, something along the lines of, I guess I'll bring that truck over. My world fell apart. In a good way. I didn't know what to say. I'm getting a little emotional as about thinking about it now, but that's what this truck means to me. And memories like that can't be bought. I'm not going to say that the truck will always be mine, in my possession, which I'm hoping it is. But you never know what this world might hold. But I'm going to do everything in my power to keep the truck. Keep it mine and enjoy the memories that come along with the truck. That's my story between me and the old Silverado. I thought y'all would want to know that. And kind of explains the story why I've been offered good money for the truck. But, as far as cash, I feel like $1 million couldn't buy the stories. Thank y'all for listening to that.